DJ, the stunning fall of a hurling superstar, today jailed for a 5.5 year for defrauding Kilkenny hurler, appreciates just how high he once ascended. Like an American sports star, you have your own, carry simply by his initials DJ. Doing his first day in prison there today, just to underestimate the fame and esteem 90s. It says Ireland face France, Poland, and Dutch in World Cup qualifying group. The Republic of Ireland will face France. That's in the ladies. Carla Ward's side was seeded in pot four and League A qualifying route. Would be relatively pleased with the draw, which took place in Nîmes and Switzerland. Ireland went to the draw knowing that they have already secured a playoff at worst. So that's the very latest then on the women's thing. And then on the GEA news, a bit about the GEA. There was an article here about DJ Curry. DJ, the stunning fall of a hurling superstar. Owen Ryan noted. To understand the extent of Dennis Joseph Gurley's fall from grace, you have to appreciate just how high he once ascended. Simply calling the 54-year-old, who is today jailed for a 5.5 year for defrauding 22 people of almost 400,000, the former Kilkenny hurler, is to underestimate the fame and esteem he enjoyed in Ireland from the early 90s. Like an American sports star, you have your own, even more serious legal difficulties. Many knew Kerry simply by his initials DJ. So, as I was saying, it's sad there. He's doing his first day in prison there today, DJ, and was all on the news there yesterday. And then more about the hurling thing. Actually, this is Kilkenny to begin Leinster senior hurling defence away to Galway. Kilkenny will begin the Leinster senior hurling defence away to Galway, while round robin new boys Kildare will open the 2000 championship with home tie against Wexford. Kilkenny will go in search of a seventh provincial title on the spin. For the second succession year, they will begin against Galway. This year, the Cats sees past the feeble Tribes display first time out. Newly promoted Kildare will look to forward their momentum of success. So the draw was already done there, the Leinster hurling draw, which it's early days. And according to the All Stars, the very latest then on the cutting will come down on a memorable season with 15 hurlers and 15 footballers. Who will get it? Probably Clifford will get number one. David Clifford, I'm sure there's many awards there to come from. And then on the entertainment news, I see Ed Sheeran celebrates streaming milestone in Dublin. What this thing was, singer-songwriter returned to Dublin last night for an internet performance honouring the journey that he led. 14 of his songs to be streamed over 1 billion times on Spotify. The Yorkshire-born music star, who has a large Irish family, including his Belfast-born father and grandma, who hailed from Gorey, surprised 1,700 of his biggest fans at the hall at the RDS for a secret gig on Monday. That was a big thing. And then John Creedon, I see, was honoured, written by father and son, Amina, which marks Daniel Day's first film since 2017. So that's coming out in the cinemas pretty soon. And then Predator Badlands shows a new role in Predator Badlands. So that's another new film that's coming out, and that's the very latest then into the and Brendan and Donald Gleeson to star in The Simpsons. I see. Father and son are due to guest star in season 37 of The Simpsons later this month. According to the plot, Bart runs against Mayor Quimbley's son for student council president, while Lisa lends trouble things against the Quimbley clan and about The Simpsons. So that's the very latest then. And then I was just going to go then over to the Hogan Stand website, the latest in the GA. It just says Garda probe Wexford senior football final post match brawl. Garda have launched an investigation into the ugly scenes which marred the end of last Sunday's senior football final. It was marred by a post match brawl in which a teenager was among those to receive injuries. Order was eventually restored. Four the winners were presented with silverware. And then more about then Kavanagh vacates Glenn's hot seat. This show, Rory Kavanagh has stepped down as Glen manager with just one season in charge. The Donegal All Star Senior Fund comes after the Matt Walter Grahames were knocked out of the Derry Senior Football semi final And then Brogan inspires Dublin to a junior final. He played there at 41. Bernabeu proved the class is permanent by playing a permanent role for St. Oliver Cromwell's own run in the Dublin senior final at the weekend. The 41-year-old came off the bench to score three of his side's four second half points. So that's a good news story. And then I did give you the senior football in Wicklow. They were well beaten, and Baltinglass are out there for another year. The Wicklow champions, Kildare, a tie won pretty convincingly, and that's the way it is. Actually, there's a report here of it. The, so it's Ant's joint is by his team's performance in yesterday's senior football opening against Baltinglass. They dished out a 3-16 to 10 point defeat to Wicklow champion Balkans in Walk, which was fairly convincingly. There's a 15 point win over advanced a tie on a provincial quarter-final date with Summerhill and Newbridge in 2 weeks' time. So that's the latest. That's the score then that was there, and I just thought I'd go through that latest thing, and then I was just I had the Irish Independent open today earlier today, looking at the news, and just a lot of news there in the world taking place every day, and it just says more about me, Mr. Martin. The very latest then on what's happening. Uh, Ishik says Ivan Yates' smear campaign comments should not be linked with his training of Fianna Fáil ministers. Seemingly, he trained a couple of ministers, including himself, and a lot of people are saying Martin should go. I say it myself. He's past the sell by date. And surge in numbers filing property tax return as deadline nears. It just says there has been a surge in the number of homegrown filing a property tax return in the past few days. The number of filings has more than doubled since last Wednesday. Revenue says more than 1 million local prop tax have been filed by resident property owners by Tuesday evening. The deadline for telling the tax authority what your property is worth and how you are going to pay the tax year is Friday, and that's then big news on the thing about the property tax as well. And Dublin builders to face trial over death of worker after scaffolding fall. And then the very latest on the sports there. Ireland keep fingers crossed ahead of Tybone's discipline hearing tonight. He will face a disciplinary hearing tonight following his controversial yellow red card during his side's 26-13 defeat to New Zealand. That's big news as well, what they're going to get. So, and then in Gaelic football, more about Kobe McDonald. Conor McGowan writes an article. Amateur status means GA always risks losing starlets like Kobe McDonald. It was a big news. He's going to AFL, seemingly, and Mayo have lost him. So that's sad news there for Mayo. And Kieran Cuddihy to earn a 230,000 on staff job as Liveline host at RTE as Director General poised to get pay rise. So that's the latest then on the salaries in RTE, which is a big debate here in every kind of way. I've been looking at the salaries there. It says a lot. So, and the very latest then on Sky News, I'll probably come just to end my show here with the latest on the Sky News. Rail worker who protected passengers during train stabbing is named. So, and post office hero Bates lands seven-figure Horizon payout. So that's the drama. You remember the drama there about pay. And then more about Mr. Trump. Zorneman, could Trump's worst nightmare show how to take fight to president? New Yorkers go to the polls today and could be about to elect the city's first ever Muslim mayor and someone whose left leaning policies could, if successfully, inform how his Democratic colleagues approach future elections. And just Dominic Arnold calls himself Donald Trump's worst nightmare. They are the words of a man living the dream. It's because the 34-year-old is the headline act in Tuesday's referendum on Trump's 208, a statement night in U.S. politics as Americans, some of these deliver a verdict on what they see so far. Rise, so David Beckham receives knighthood from the King. That's a good news story as well. And man jailed after bugging Damien Hirst's studio while wearing a GPS tag, I see. And then the world news, the underground squad with the lives of countless civilians in their hands. And how Ukraine, then there's a question there, how Ukraine could force Putin to negotiate tables. Michael Hart answers your questions on the Sky podcast. And I see former US Vice President Dick Cheney dies. That was a sad story. He'd done a lot in America, and that was a big story then. So,